down.
So fast, all tied up like a captive. I'm to you. Used to pay to my mind lights, standing on rainbows, playing it cool. I don't focus in ages, and I've no more patience. So won't you please stay up in line? You're making me stronger, making me stronger.
Arteta could come round your gaff tonight, rag out your missus, yeah, sit there tickling your fucking balls, and you'll go, oh, tickle them harder, Mikel. Fuck off, yeah? Fuck off.
Oh, man. This club is killing me. It really, really is killing me, man. This football club is absolutely killing me, man.
Fans,
think that we're just going to miraculously, in one season, bridge 30-odd points and win the league is ridiculous. I know we spent over £200 million. We might spend a little bit more.
Check, keeps it in. Great ball from Soufal. Oh! Oh my God! Oh my God! No
I
way!
missed it!
Overhead kick! Mikel Antonio!
What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and I've got some absolute banging guests on with me today. I've got Lee Gunner from Lee Gunner YouTube channel. Go over, go and follow him. I've got Manhandled. Looks like he's got a Concorde on his face. I've got Corey from West Ham. And, of course, I've got Saeed from United Central. Obviously, boys, thank you ever so much for all coming on, man.
Big up, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'll drink to that. Big up to everyone in here as well. Big up to everyone in the chat room as well.
Yeah, man. Come on.
Honestly, it's been mad. And make sure you hit the likes, guys. Hit the likes, because fucking hell, the Liverpool fans were doing a madness before we started today. Absolute madness. We're live on Twitter, on Twitch, and on YouTube, guys. So firstly, Lee, because you've got a stream at 9 o'clock, man. You've popped me in that tight schedule of yours. I've listened to your streams today. I've listened to everything. How's Arsenal going, man? What's going on?
What's not going on, bruv? This club's the banter club. It's been the banter club for about 15 years. And it's just got worse and worse, isn't it? And then today I see an article, the last stream I did, that we've been valued at $197 million less than we were a year ago.
Yeah.
And now Spurs have overtaken Arsenal in terms of valuation of football club. And bro, it's just 15 years or so of just poor management. Yeah, wrong decisions, paying players over the odds to stay at the club, like Mesut Ozil, who's going to be my next stream because apparently he's very close to Fenerbahce. Well, listen, I'll take him the extra steps to get him there if I have to. Yeah, the quicker he's gone, the better. Worst player, one of the worst, most overrated footballers I've ever seen. And the love fest for this guy is based off of assist stats. Bruv, let me just say something about assist stats, yeah? Gabriel Martinelli scored against Chelsea, run the whole length of the pitch. Mustafi got the assist. He headed the ball from his own 6-yard box. He gets an assist for that. Worst stats ever, along with created chances. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like, we're linked to a player in the Championship, and our fans are going on like he's the next Messi. Like, it might end up being good, but when he was in the Premier League, he scored 1 goal. Yeah, in 36 appearances. So, we've gone from winning titles, going invincible, to 4th place is a trophy, to, oh, well, it don't matter that we're not in Champions League anymore. After qualifying for 20 years straight, it don't matter anymore. To, well, we're in the Europa League, but we keep winning FA Cups, so that's all right. To, oh, well, it's part of we've got to trust the process. No, there is no process. If we had a proper manager this season, we'd be probably top of the league. The way the league's gone, we would have won 3 games more at least, and we'd probably be right on Liverpool, or if not top, with a proper manager. He ain't picked our best squad all season. The fact everyone's getting excited over the fact that Smith Rowe's been playing, well, where have you all been? Like, I've been telling you for a year or so, put the kid in. Saka's been decent. Martinelli's a baller as well. He's loaned out Saliba after playing him for 0 minutes. Like, what's that all about? Is he worse than Holding? Mustafi, Socrates, Louise? I just don't get it. Pepe's never played more than 5 games straight. He's our top signing. It's a shambles, bruv. The club's a shambles. And it ain't the club I started supporting when I was like 6, 7 years old. Do you know what I'm saying? It's now a brand. It ain't a club. It's a brand. It's Arsenal football brand. It's a joke. And people want to sit there and keep chatting about process this, process that. We've been in a 16-year process. I ain't waiting another 4 years. I want what they promised us. They were smashing Highbury down for. Yeah, and I ain't prepared to wait. So yeah, people sound negative. I ain't. I don't want Buendia. I don't want Aouar. Nobody's ever watched that geezer play football apart from 2 Champions League games that were on TV for nothing. I want us to go and sign Jack Grealish, go and sign Lamptey, go and sign Basuma, go and sign proper footballers. Get rid of the little fashionista, the humanitarian at right back who Jack Grealish bodied back to Barca C team. Like, I'm sick and tired of these players. And he's, you know, we've got Maitland-Niles there. He's bombed out Guendouzi, who I thought was an asset. I thought he could be good. He's bombed him out. He's got rid of Saliba, another youngster we spent big money on. And, you know, now we've got Smith Rowe, Saka, and Nketiah. Nketiah's not all that. But listen, he's been scoring a few goals this season. I'd sell him. We've got Balogun, who don't get in the squads, who's going to be another Serge Gnabry. We're going to let him go for nothing. He's going to be a well beater in 3 years. It's just a mess, bruv. It's a mess. It's not just Arteta. It's everything. It's Wenger. Wenger's the biggest problem for me. He had full reign on this club for way too long, and he's culpable massively. Listen, don't get twisted. All the rest of them are along the way, but for me, he sent this club back a decade, and Arteta's sending it back another 5 years.
Yeah,
so,
there
you go.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I'll see you later now. I've saw a lot of Lee streams. Obviously, I've saw obviously for all of the other guys, just chip in with what you know. Obviously, from a Chelsea perspective, you know, when you look at Arsenal now, obviously Arsenal for a long time before Abramovich and even during Abramovich, Arsenal were a very, very good side competing with Chelsea and Man United and Liverpool at the top of the table. What's your thoughts from a Chelsea perspective looking at Arsenal now? Is it, you know, I mean, I hate to sort of throw sort of salt into Lee's wounds there, being you know, coming from Chelsea, but it's sort of it's comparable because you're both massive clubs. It's the same with Man United as well, to be fair. You know, what do you see when you look at Arsenal now? Me and West Ham, we just fucking sit here quiet.
Yeah, we'll just be quiet for a bit.
We ain't in that category in the last fucking 30 years.
I think, I mean, I thought my problems were bad, but listen to Lee go on there. I mean, I feel a lot better as a Chelsea fan in poor form at the moment, but yeah, I think there's problems at both clubs at the moment. I mean, Lampard and Arteta are both under pressure. Arteta's had a few good results, but I think he's papering over the cracks. A little bit like Lampard earlier in the season. We had some good wins against some lesser teams, and we relied a lot on individual brilliance. Lampard is still very young as a manager. He's shown that his tactics are not very good. In terms of the system, I'm not quite sure what on earth we were trying to do against Man City. And he just doesn't impact games enough. I've said, even when we were winning on Twitter and YouTube, that Lampard doesn't impact games enough. He's not got very good in-game management. So to kind of go away from your point a little bit, I think right now we've got problems, but we're still far ahead of most other teams. And I still expect us to get top four, because if we don't, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. But in terms of where we are, I think, no disrespect to Arsenal, but Tottenham are now the biggest club in North London. They're now unfortunately bigger than Arsenal. My best mate's an Arsenal fan. I talk about Arsenal a lot. And, you know, they are a club on the periphery now looking in, and they've got to knock that door down. And I'm not so sure they're going to do it under Arteta, the way it's going. But yeah, in terms of, you know, 2003, a lot of people say that Chelsea were incepted as a club when Abramovich came in. We were decent before that. I've only been, you know, Chelsea fan. I'm 29, so not that long. But, you know, we were okay. We were building up to it before Abramovich came in. Obviously, we've been a lot better the last 10, 15 years. And his hire and fire process, Abramovich has seemed to work. But now, Chelsea have a project, the 3-year plan. We're a year and a half in. And for people to want to press the trigger very quickly on Lampard, I think it's a little bit premature. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. There's a lot of things wrong, but it's not as bad as Arsenal. No disrespect so far. So.
Nearly as small as Jordan Pickford's, mate.
Oh, well done. So obviously you're sitting very happy at the minute, top of the league, essentially, you know, game in hand at least. I mean, a week ago, I come on here, I was giving it the big one. Everton are going to beat Man United in the Carabao Cup. We're going to twat you all around the park, blah, blah, blah. Man United come to Goodison, show Wagwan. And that was where we are now. So, obviously, from a Man United perspective, you must be loving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer all of a sudden, yeah?
I don't know about that. You know what I mean? I'll reserve my judgment till the end of the season.
That's an Arsenal thing.
Yeah, that's it, man. I feel like for me, like I'm not gonna kind of come in here and be a flip flop. I'm not gonna come in here and say I'm back in the process now. I'm back Ollie, this and that. Of course, you're gonna have to back the team to a certain extent, and then you're gonna have to back the manager to an extent because he's a manager. I've always said for me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't good enough as a manager for Man United to win trophies. I feel like for me, you have to. That's the barometer of what you kind of like, you deem a manager on. Can he win you trophies? And if he can't, then he's not good enough for the job. Because I'm not here to kind of vibe and to kind of, just play pretty football. Man United were never based on that. That's pretty football. They always won stuff. And I feel like for me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has brought in a kind of a kind of a charisma about the football club. He's given a good energy. These are a group of players that are likable. With good squad, very, very, very good squad, and he's built that. Credit to him. But the problem is though, when it's on a final hurdle, last year 3 semi-final losses. This one tomorrow will be a big one against Man City. We win that game, then we look like we're going somewhere. If we don't, it just kind of like I don't say it backs my argument because I don't want the manager to fail, but it just kind of shows that where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is always going to be. He's going to be an early man, and I feel like for me, I'm going to wait till the end of the season. Yes, it's pretty now. We're joint top of the league. We'll probably beat Burnley, and then we'll probably go on 3 points ahead of Liverpool. But the matter of fact is, it's not a kind of a thing where you go 38 game a season. We wait till the end of the season, but for now, listen, man, we're doing good, man. We're riding the good vibes, man. Good vibe at the minute, lad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think just sort of moving on to West Ham now. Obviously, West Ham. I've called this the chasing pack, and it's unfair. It's unfair for people in the comments here to say that West Ham are not part of the chasing pack because, being realistic, West Ham are only 3 points off 6th. Arsenal, to be fair to them, are only 6 points off Europe. So it's not like we can sit here and none of us can say that we can't finish in Europe. I think the 3 middle guys here, shout out to the donation here.
Big up my guy Neftali. Real one, baby.
You see, look at that. You see, coming over. Respect, bruv. From a West Ham perspective, are you happy with the season so far? And what do you look at the 3 clubs that we've just spoken about there, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United, and how far are West Ham from competing with that?
I'd say this season, obviously not that far. I think, I've never been fully convinced on the likes of Ollie and Frank, particularly against City. I thought he was poor, his tactics were well off. But I think with West Ham at the moment, Moyes has given us a little bit of consistency. And I was never a massive fan of having Moyes as our manager. You give him a season, he starts to build a side. We've got great players, Declan Rice, Thomas Souček, as you saw. Listen, we're not that far off. You see Southampton last night beat Liverpool. If we get a couple of wins, we've got Burnley next in the league. There's no reason why we can't push, but I'm not going to be super optimistic and West Ham fan. If I'll take top half, I thought we were going to get relegated at the start of the season. So the fact where we are now, performing how we are, I'll just take it, mate. I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah, fair enough. I was just going to go back to Arsenal just because I know you've got to shoot off in like 5-10 minutes, which is calm. Arsenal, obviously, January transfer window. I've looked at a lot of the outgoings, a lot of the ingoings. I know from an Everton perspective, I know sort of what I expect Everton to be doing. What do you expect Arsenal to do? And I will come and ask you all guys about your clubs.
I expect us to do nothing because this ain't Football Manager, mate. That's what I've been told all summer. It ain't Football Manager. We're in the height of a pandemic. Yeah. People are dying. Stay safe. Stay alert. Make sure your loved ones are looked after. Check in on them. But it's now back into a full lockdown, and for some reason, Arsenal fans seem to think that we're going to go out and have a madness. Like, based on what? Take Aubameyang out of our January transfer signings. Go and look at the rest of them. They're crap. Kim Kallstrom with a broken back. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And Arsenal fans have this weird fetish, and it just baffles me that all summer we as a fan base, not me, although I did do streams on him, and I would take him, Houssem Aouar, but it's no, like I said at the very beginning, how many people have actually watched the guy in the French league? Nobody watches the French league. It's crap. You ain't watching that. So you've only seen him for 2 games. Big up my missus. She's upstairs. She's been put in the basement, and but nobody's ever watched this Houssem Aouar. People were going on all summer like he was going to be the next Messi. Now that's kind of fizzled out a little bit, and we've been linked with Buendia. All of a sudden, this guy's the next Messi. Well, what's happened to Aouar? Why aren't you all tweeting about this guy? Where was this talk of this Buendia guy when he was in the Premier League? Because I didn't see no one gassing him up. Bro, I said he's played 36 games last season in the league, 1 goal. But now, as a fan base, we're sitting there going, but he had the 4th most created chances. Well, they were obviously the wrong chances. Otherwise, he would have had the fourth most assists, because a created chance ain't a goal, is it? It's a pass that's ended with a shot on goal. If it had gone in, it's an assist. Yeah, so it was obviously the wrong chance she was setting up. It's not like De Bruyne sticking him on a plate. You know what I'm saying? So I just look at it and I think the biggest signing we can make this transfer window is keeping Balogun, because that kid is going to be world class, bruv. That kid is so good, it is unreal. We're linked with Ozil's linked to a move to Fenerbahce. He's apparently in Istanbul, getting Instagram and Twitter on strings with pictures saying I love this place, and Socrates has replied with a little wink emoji and stuff like that. So everyone now thinks he could be going. The day that guy leaves, bruv, I swear, oh mate, I'll be buying a bottle of champagne and popping it off on stream. I can't wait. That geezer, him and Bellerin are the ones for me that if you pick two players from Arsenal to sum up the last decade, they're the two. Weak, overpaid, overrated crap. Yeah, and the fact that between them they're on nearly 500 grand a week is just a scandal. You know, for me, I can't stand either of them. You know, I've lived through an era where I've seen proper footballers, mate. None of these little pansies that fall over every time they get touched. And luckily, touch wood, that I've actually seen us win the top honours in the league, like league titles. I've seen us win 5 in my lifetime. But January, I don't expect us to do anything, if I'm honest. I don't. And I think Arsenal fans are waiting for the summer as well, although they do think we're going to go out and do a lot this January. But we are getting Socrates, Mustafi, Louise, Ozil all off the wage bill in the summer, which is what, plus a few other players that are coming off because of end of contracts as well. It's nearly £1 million a week, which is why I sit here and my standards are up here saying go sign Jack Grealish now, because we're gonna take off 52 million quid off the wage bill in the summer. So why can't we go and sell Eddie and Nketiah for 10, 15, 20, pay Balogun 100 grand a week? The amount of people on Twitter today that said to me, oh, you're paying an inexperienced player 100 grand a week. Well, we're paying an inexperienced manager 120 grand a week. What's the difference?
And equally, you can't necessarily say that because the guy sitting next to us, they've got Callum Hudson-Odoi on 175.
I was coming to that. He's on 120 or something, can it, right? And this is the thing, right? I know a lot of Chelsea fans. Some of my best pals are Chelsea fans, and they're a little bit older than me. I'm 40 soon, yeah? Like 18 months, I'm 40. My mates that are Chelsea have been going home and away for years, like 40 years. Yeah, I know so much about Chelsea, man, because I used to work with, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you know, mate, SW6, Tony. Yeah,
I was part of SW6 last year.
I worked with him for maybe 15 years. I had him in my ear. When Abramovich took over, just, oh my God, I swear, we used to knock on doors together for windows. And he used to drive me nuts. Well, domination, geez. That's all I used to hear from him. But no, I just look at it and I think like my standards are Jack Grealish. My standards are Lamptey, yeah, an ex-Chelsea youth player, quality right back. You know, my standards are go and buy the best player you can buy in that position. Why not? Instead, we're sitting there slumming it with Granit Xhaka stinking the gaff out every week, and people are going, oh, but he scored a screamer the other day. Give him another chance. No, he shouldn't even be at this club after telling us all to fuck off a year ago or whatever. Then he gets sent off and don't apologise. He strolls back in, scores a goal, and all's forgotten. And that is Arsenal fans in a nutshell for me. I can't stand our fan base, mate. Can't stand them because they're so reactionary. Bellerin plays a good game against Chelsea, and all of a sudden, oh, Bellerin, make him captain forever. Like, jog on. Like, seriously, go and play for Forest Green Rovers, mate. Like, that, you've got a stake in the club. He owns a stake in Forest Green. Go and play for them. That's your level. And it just fucking winds me up because I look at it and I think, like, they sold us a dream of moving to this stadium to compete with the best in the world. We were doing that at Highbury, right? They did it and they knew what they were doing, which is why I don't go in so much on the owner, because the owner wasn't even here at that point in 2002. He came in a year after the Emirates, right? And brought the first set of shares, like 10% or whatever. It's only recently he's got full ownership of this football club. And that's why I'm not so much on his case, because they knew, that board knew what they were doing by selling our soul and moving to that stadium. And what they've done is they've changed the badge to a cartoon badge and took away the victory through harmony, the Latin, the class underneath it, yeah, and turned it into a toy badge, right? And what they've done is they've alienated all of the match day fans. So now the match day fans don't have a voice at all. Right, and it's now a massive global fan base. Which, listen, we wouldn't be sitting here doing YouTube without global fans, and we wouldn't have signings like the Havertz or the Aubameyangs and the Pogbas of this world signing for our clubs without a global fan base. I get it. I've embraced it. But as a football club, what they've done is they've tapped into thank you, mate. They've tapped in to the global fan base and alienated the matchday fans. So the matchday fan now is 0.1% of the global fan base. So they have no voice. So yeah, you can go and walk out the stadium like everyone did when Wenger was here. Yeah, and the stadium was empty. I don't think that's the reason he got sacked. You know, you can go and protest. When you put a tweet out, Turkish was putting tweets out about protests and all these other people, Wenger out protests. I was at some of them. Yeah, if you were looking on Twitter, you think there was 20,000 people marching down Hornsey Road. Yeah, it was like 400 people. But because the platforms that you're putting it on, you've got people that can't make it because of where they live and stuff like that, which is not their fault. And I'm not having a dig at anyone overseas because, like I said, I've seen Thierry on replay for my club. I've seen Bergkamp play for my club. I've seen all of these ballers that we've had over the years play for my club. We wouldn't be doing that without a global reach because we wouldn't be able to have the money to pay them.
Yeah.
But the club knew what they were doing before Kroenke took over. They knew, build up the global brand. It alienates the matchday fan. Terry Neal, when he got sacked, yeah, there's people that will be watching this that might be watching this that are old enough to remember Terry Neal at Arsenal getting sacked. We, as fans, went down to Islington Town Hall and met the board of directors and said we want him sacked. Yeah, the next day he was sacked. You can't do that now as an Arsenal fan. Yeah, and now what they do, the admin of Arsenal social media accounts ain't even an Arsenal fan. He's a Southampton fan. Well, why are you here? And I'll tell you why he's here, because when we get piped 3-0 by Aston Villa, the next day he can put out, get your Christmas merch on arsenal.com. If you're saying to an Arsenal fan, go and stick that out on Arsenal Twitter, he's going to say, boy, I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah, and it's all about marketing and PR and money. And I hate the way football's gone. Sky Sports, BT Sport, Champions League, Europa League, they've all killed football off, bruv. Or football as I knew it. Yeah, listen, I still love watching it. I'm sitting there watching Tottenham Brentford right now. Yeah, but it just fucking winds me up. And they play on the fact that the majority of people in society, not just football fan bases, the majority of people in society are sheep and they will go with it. I see their PR bullshit with this manager. Process, structure, non-negotiable, all this crap. Well, what's non-negotiable is you losing fucking more games than you've won this season, mate. Sack.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's how, you know, in our jobs, for example, that's how performance is. And if you're not good enough at your job, you get fucked off. And that's a fair comment. Lee, welcome John to the stream there. Made me look like an absolute dickhead, you absolute twat. This is John, my co-host, and I hope he licks his mom to Kingdom Come today.
After yours. I hope you two are mates. Jesus Christ.
I think he's an absolute dickhead. So, obviously, just a few last questions for Lee. Obviously, as I say, you've got to go. But we've been linked, both of our clubs today have been linked with Eriksen today. Both Everton and Arsenal apparently are interested in a move. Would you take him? I know from an Everton perspective, I know John's probably going to say we would take him. So, would you take him?
I'm on the fence over it. You know, we had a couple of good years at Tottenham. He's been poor at Milan. We need legs in the... Sorry for jumping in, Lee. We need legs in the midfield. He doesn't have any legs for me. Christian Eriksen's not the sort of player. You know, yeah, he's got a bit of flair. He can pick a pass out, but he's not a workhorse at all. So, to be honest, there was a poll on Twitter earlier. Everton fans, do you want him? Yes or no? And I'll be honest, I hate no. I'm honest.
Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. It's all right. I suppose Tom Davies can do the job, eh, John? Fucking hell.
No, but at the end of the day, Michael.
Sigurdsson, Jesus.
You can fucking have him then.
It's definitely an upgrade, though. It's definitely an upgrade to what you've got, you know.
Yeah.
He'd give you that vision, give that ball into Calvert-Lewin, and that's all he needs. I think Calvert-Lewin right now is just asking for someone to play him the ball. You know, obviously James Rodriguez has been injured, but I think Eriksen would be a smart move. Under Ancelotti would be a good move, but the problem is the wages will be a big one. Can he agree on the wages for Everton? You know.
Yeah, well, to be honest, Everton and we will pay. Like, I mean, it depends how much he's on at Milan though, because I've got no idea. But I reckon what is it, like $300,000 a week or something?
He won't be on that much, surely. Like, there's no way Milan are paying him.
That's what was reported, to be fair. But
if he's on that, then Jesus Christ, his agent needs a fucking knighthood. That's mad.
Would you have him, Lee?
I'd take him. I would take him. I wouldn't take him on any longer than an 18-month deal. Yeah, I'd take him because We've got Smith Rowe, who I think is quality. I think he can be a top player. He can't play a whole season. He's hardly played all season. Now he's played 3 in a row, and he's been sweet. But I'd take him, and the reason I'd take him is like you just said, yeah, to put them balls on Calvert-Lewin's head. Well, we can put them balls on Lacazette's head. We can put them balls on through the lines for Aubameyang or for Saka. So I'd take him, but I wouldn't take him on the premise that he's a starter every week, which is why I would have took Willian. I've tapped out on Willian, by the way. Yeah, all Chelsea fans told me about Willian. I thought he was coming as just a backup man. Yeah, but he ain't. He's been a starter every week, stinking the gaff out every week. But yeah, same with Eriksen. I would take Eriksen for 18 months, just on the basis that I don't see. This is the thing, right? A modern number 10 isn't a thing anymore for me. Yeah, you can't just be loitering around and not track back. Yeah, I'm watching Harry Kane tonight, and he's basically playing centre mid. He's on his position striker, but he's basically playing centre mid. That guy is running past people. He's winning free kicks. He's popping the ball off. He's pinging balls through the lines. That's what I want to see from my number 10. He's working back and slide tackling. I think Eriksen can do that. But like I said, I'd only take him as a backup guy, and it wouldn't be for any more than 100 grand a week for 18 months. Other than that, not interested. But for me, the Arsenal fans just have this weird thing about a number 10. You don't need a number 10. Liverpool, the club we're supposed to be following the process of, don't have a number 10. They've got 3 workhorses in midfield, and all of their creativity comes down their wings with their left back, right back, and wingers. And that's the method and the philosophy we're supposed to be doing. So I don't think we necessarily need a number 10, but I would take him, but only if he is a backup. Other than that, nah.
One of the questions in there, Lee, was when is your next stream? So obviously,
probably about half hour, and it's going to be about my specialist subject, Mesut Ozil. I could go on Mastermind and get full points, bruv. Yeah, I'd set records on that player. I know all the pie charts. I know all the assist stats, created chances, and I also know how much he's cost us. 153 million quid. That geezer has cost us from the day we signed him to the 30th of June at midnight this year. 153 million. And people want to tell me I don't know nothing about football. Maybe if you can't see what Mesut does, you don't know about football. Well, maybe I do, and that's why I think he's shit.
Fucking, there you go. Look at that. Fucking hell. Oh, honestly, he's right up my street. So, Saeed, obviously, I'm going to
have to bounce, mate. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to go. Listen, lads, I'll do another stream another time, and I'll do more than half hour, yeah?
Don't worry, man.
I'm going to have to go. Big up to all of you, man.
See you later.
Bye.
See you later. And there we go. Saeed, we move straight on to you then, brother. And guys, obviously, appreciate the numbers will probably drop now because we'll be going over to Lee's. Lee's next stream is at about 9 to 15:15, so you don't have to fuck off just yet. Just stay here, keep sharing, keep liking, and keep enjoying the video. Saeed, Man United, January, you are essentially top of the table, and I think from mine and John's perspective, and probably the other two as well, West Ham and Chelsea, we all really want, if Everton aren't going to win the league, we'd rather somebody else win the league than fucking Liverpool.
The whole universe wants Man United to win the league if it's not their own club, as long as they don't.
There you go. So look, what are you going to buy in January to make sure you win the fucking league? Because that's the most important thing here, mate. That's why you're here. What's the plan?
Yeah. Okay, for me, I'd go buy a backup right back. I like that guy from Norwich, Max Aarons. I think he'd do well in United. I think we're playing Europa League as well. It's going to be one of them where I think Man United have got to prioritise where they play. And I think Wan-Bissaka, as good as he is, he won't be able to play Thursday, Sundays. You know what I mean? It's very, very tough mentally rather than physically. You know what I mean? To kind of play. Sometimes you're playing in Kazakhstan and then you're coming back, you're playing in, you know what I mean, Burnley away or something like that. You know what I mean? Deep. You know what I mean? So probably I'll go with Max Aarons right back. I was going to go for a centre-back, but the only one I wanted was David Alaba, but apparently he's on the verge of going Real Madrid this summer. They're about to do a pre-agreement for David Alaba. His wages are too much. I think apparently wants like 300 grand a week, which is absolutely astronomical, mate. I'd go with Basuma at Brighton. He's a good kind of player. Very, very good. We need a DM. He'd be good ideal with Fred or Pogba, whoever's in that DM role. it probably costs you about 20, 30 million. Brighton are probably going to go in and around relegation zone. So he's probably thinking, you know what? I could probably win a league. You know what I mean? European football. So Basuma. And then, I don't know. I think that'll be for me 2 signings. You know, I think we're all good. I think we've got Diallo coming through, Pelestri. So we're all right going through in terms of our forward. I think we just need right back and probably a DM, and then I think we'll probably 21 and 21. You never know.
Well, look, I mean, if Everton ain't going to win the league, I'd rather Man United do it, and Chelsea aren't going to do it because they fucking fell apart, haven't they, John?
Yeah.
I mean, you fell apart halfway through the season. You've turned it around. Arsenal have turned it around. Look, everyone wanted Moyes sacked. He's turned it around. Southampton lost 9-0 not too long ago, and he's just beaten Liverpool. Sometimes it's good to stick with the manager. And I remember watching Side's video when they lost 6-1 to Tottenham.
Yeah.
And he was screaming for Ollie out. Now suddenly he's the best thing since sliced bread. So these things happen.
Well, yeah, I don't think sliced bread, but he's improved.
They're very confident. There's a lot of United fans that think you're going to win the league. I'll be honest with you. You've got a poor defence. I'm not defending Chelsea's recent form, but poor defence. And if Fernandes gets injured, let's jinx it, touch wood, you're absolutely done. And this is no disrespect to Man United. I'm not being cocky because I said my club right now isn't doing very well. Mike seems to have gone from the stream. It's you're struggling without. Has Mike taken everyone out for us?
I am. Yeah,
very, very cheeky. You're confusing the hell out of me. But yeah, for me, I think Man United will do well. I think you'll get top 4. I think Chelsea will still get top 4. But yeah, what's your thoughts on Ollie? Because we've beaten around the bush a little bit here. Do you want Ollie in?
Well, the thing is, you know what it is in football? Football's a crazy, crazy game. You know what I mean? A lot of people think that I've got this massive agenda against Ollie where I just want Ollie out for the sake of it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wanted Pochettino as manager because I believe that with this squad, he could take this club forward and probably win as a trophy. And you could probably see a kind of a future with the team. I looked at Ollie and I thought 2 years, still no style of play, still no consistency. You know what I mean? I just thought he couldn't do it. Football's a funny game, you know what I mean? Do I want Man United to do well because of Ollie? Absolutely, because at the end of the day, I support Man United. I supported Van Gaal. I supported Mourinho. I even supported David Moyes. You know what I mean? Like, as much as they were out of their depth, you have to support the team. And I feel like for me, there's a lot of people who kind of misconstrue messages and think, you know what? You're Ollie out, so how can you be supporting the team? Listen, I support the team first. The manager's part of it. I'll back the process. And then when it comes to the end of the season, I can hold my hands up and say, you know what, I got it wrong with Ollie. And I'll say, you know what, fair play, Ollie, you won the league. But for me, it remains to be seen. 3 semi-final losses, you know what I mean? We haven't really won a trophy in the 2 years he's been here. It's a big ask to win a trophy. I think for now, you can almost say, you know what, it's good now. You're on a winning streak. But to win it over 38 games, we've never been there. You know what I mean? Europa League as well. A lot of people forgot about Europa League. When that kicks in, that was probably a reason for me to sackable offence because you left Man United in a position where you're now having to juggle 2 competitions, Thursday and Sunday. So you're going to be playing Thursday, and then you're going to be playing at the end. When everyone's played all their games, you're going to be playing 4:30 kickoff on a Sunday. Pressure's on. You know what I mean? Other teams probably got 1 week off. So them kind of things I'm thinking, you know what? I'm not too sure about winning the league. I want it to happen. And you know what? 21 would be amazing. But for now, I'm going to be like, you know what? Let's take it week by week.
I think, just to interject, I think people have got to start understanding that you can praise in isolation. When teams have a few good games, they suddenly make them title contenders, the media. And social media is a massive part of that because everyone can have their say, which is fantastic. But praise in isolation, Chelsea had some good games. And I was very adamant, look, we're doing well now, but when it's a lot tougher, like Kante looks great in the 4-3-3 as a DM when no one's pressing him, when there's no number 10 between the defence and field. And then when Man City have De Bruyne dropping deep, Kante's absolutely nowhere. No disrespect against Kante, but he didn't have a partner, and Chelsea looked lost. And for me, Frank Lampard still got a lot to learn as a manager. I love him, but I separate the player and the manager. And Ollie was a great player for Man United. And you've got to separate, when you have a legend in charge, separate the player and the manager. And praise in isolation. For me, that's where the big bugbear with Lampard comes in because, he's tactically not aware. Nuno Sanchez for Wolves made a really good sub when they beat us 2-1. They brought Traore on, and he, occupied 2-3 of the Chelsea players, completely changed the game. Neto opponents ran riot, and Lampard just stands on the sideline and doesn't react. Doesn't react in the Arsenal game, and Arsenal trounced us. Doesn't react in the Man City game, and by the time he'd made a sub, we'd lost the game. So that's the thing for me. It will switch around very quickly. We've got two very winnable games.
So, John, are you Lampard out?
No. I'm not Lampard out. I'm never a manager out, really, because, as you say, you support the club, and whoever's there, I'll support. The players are letting him down. He's also letting himself down as well. But we can turn it around. That you've seen Liverpool, 16, 17 points off from what they were last season. Liverpool just lost to Southampton. Every team is dropping points. Man United are on the way up. They'll come down. Every team, Man City suddenly look like they've struck form. So there's so many things going on in this league with the pandemic. Everyone's inconsistent. I can't for the life of me tell you who's going to win the league, and I can't for the life of you tell you who's going to get top four. Other than obviously, I hope Chelsea do. And the only one thing I want to say as well is when you were talking about who wants to win the league earlier, and I tutted my head, I don't want Man United to win the league or Man City or Liverpool. I'd rather Southampton or I don't care who wins the league other than the big boys, because Chelsea should be, with the signings we've made in the next 5 to 10 years, we should be dominant. And if we don't, then it is going to come back on us. And he's got a big nose, FGA football. I love, when I come on this channel, I get a lot of good banter. I absolutely love it.
It's because your face looks like a fucking Concorde.
It doesn't look so bad like this. It's when I go sideways, that's when it looks bad.
So, Corey, we'll come on to you. We've been a bit quiet on West Ham. Obviously, you have the former Everton and Manchester United manager, David Moyes. Firstly, do you think David Moyes, if he was given more money, could have Manchester United competing at the top of the league even quicker based on what you've seen at West Ham?
Oh, I don't know. I think United was too big for him, and he wants control over absolutely everything. Like from West Ham, luckily we don't have anything. We don't have a scouting department. We don't have this, so it's like a blank canvas. He can do what he wants with it. United, it was a too big a job. But I kind of look at it now. Obviously, he had 2 spells at West Ham. This second spell, he's got his ideas in place. He's got a bit of stability. He still winds me up with his in-game management and his late subs, and we spoke about that before the Everton game as well. But he's showing a bit of improvement. He has got some good players, Declan Rice, Souček, as we spoke on, Antonio when he's fully fit. We've really got a decent squad. We lack squad depth. Obviously, January now is finally open. I've heard rumours we might be getting Arnautovic back, which would be certainly really, really interesting. But yeah, I think the United job was too big for Moyes. And he obviously had a poison chalice at Sunderland, but fingers crossed he gets it sorted at West Ham.
Do you think he should have been sacked the first time, Corey? Do you think they should have got rid of him or stuck with him then instead of bringing him back?
Oh, this is a tough one, mate, because honestly, the football was dreadful at West Ham when he first came in. He was literally a 4-5-1, sit behind the ball. We had Patrice Evra playing left-sided centre-back and a back five. So again, it seemed like the right thing, and we thought, right, let's go on, let's do better. You bring Pellegrini and give him 100 million quid, and all of a sudden you think, hang on, we're finally going where we should have gone when we first moved in. Now Moyes is back. He's had less money than Pellegrini, a lot less, and he's done 10 times the job already. So maybe we should have stuck with him, maybe. But then I suppose you've got that carrot dangling, haven't you, of Pellegrini, fantastic football, it's exciting. We've been 3 years down the bottom. But now, obviously, I think as a club, unfortunately, because of the ball, we are more realistic. And I think Moyes suits where we're at as a club. And hopefully, give it a couple of years, we can push on.
Yeah, I said this in our preview, John, and we'll know this. Obviously, Syed, you wouldn't necessarily know this because, as I think Corey rightly says, I don't think he was the man for Manchester United. I know he was Alex Ferguson's pick. I get that, but I never thought he was the right man, and I thought the way that he left Everton was a little bit shitty as well, to be honest. But I think for a club like West Ham, where he's taking, from no disrespect to West Ham, but say bottom 6 teams in the league as of the season and the season before at least. That's where Everton were when David Moyes took over. And I can see the similarities in building that team, having that Souček type player who was similar to our Tim Cahill type player. So I can understand it. I think he'll do a good job at West Ham, and I think in time, whether it be this season or next season, I think he'll have you challenging for the top 6. I really, really believe that. I think it's a harder job because of the money and the teams that are now in it. It used to be a top 4, say 5-10 years ago. It's now definitely a top 6. It's more difficult. So I think, to be fair to Moyes, I think he's done a good job. Now, I was just going to talk about some of the transfers Now, obviously, I can just go through the Everton ones. Me and John will, I'll talk to you, John, as the Everton fan here. So, John, obviously, we've been linked with players like Eriksen, Isco, Philip, Aarons at Norwich. We have been linked as well today with Buendia. What do Everton need to get to be competing with Manchester United consistently? Because they're top of the league at the minute, so you've got to benchmark it at Man United, in my opinion. Fuck Liverpool, Man United.
Well, the thing is, I said before the season started, with Ollie being at the wheel, the likes of Man United and Chelsea, there were possibly teams Everton should have been, looking to challenge this season with having Ancelotti there and with the money being at the club. Man United, for me, Saeed will probably agree. I'm not going to say they're a one-man team, but Fernandes, for me, has dramatically improved Man United. Yeah. Without Fernandes at Man United, it's weird this, because someone pointed out before, if he gets injured, it will be a massive, massive loss for Man United. If he stays fit, in my opinion, they can challenge for the league. If he gets injured, they don't challenge for the league. That's how. I think he's the best player in the league at the minute, bar none. Going on to Everton, obviously we need a right back, as you say. We've been linked with Max Aarons. Apparently they want 30 million for him. Everton won't pay 30 million for Max Aarons. You said, Michael, the other day, possibly a deal in the summer. But we need a right back. Someone said the other day we've been linked with Tadibi. Fucking please no.
He was all right. What happened to him?
He was all right. Shit. Please don't.
Is he that bad?
That bad,
mate.
We were linked with him a while back before we got Soufal in, so it sounds like we've dodged a bullet.
Oh, fucking hell, mate! You dodged the fucking machine gun. Never mind the bullet.
John went viral on Twitter for slagging off Sadiba in the middle of the football stadium. Honestly, he stood there and went, "For fuck's sake, Sadiba, get over, mate! That's your man," or something, and absolutely went viral everywhere.
But it was funny because after I'd shouted it, Sadiba drops over straight away, as if like he heard me. Obviously, he didn't, but I think he realised. But everyone could see it. Listen, we've been linked with Sami Khedira. I don't think he's hardly played for 2 years. He's another one we've been linked with. No. He's 33. Isco again. I think Arsenal have been linked with him. Listen, we need a right back. We need a winger, in my opinion, to at least 2 players to challenge these top 6, top 7 places. Because you can't go through the whole season, in my opinion, playing 4 centre-halves at the back. It's working at the minute, and we were slagging Ancelotti off for changing it the other day, but I don't think you can go through a full season like that. So I think for me, Everton bring a right back in and maybe a right winger. I'd say we can challenge for the Europa League places. If we don't, we'll possibly just miss out, to be fair.
I agree.
But listen, I think this transfer window, for a couple of reasons, is going to be very quiet. One, the summer transfer window finished late. There was a lot of money spent. Clubs are losing a lot of money at the minute, and no disrespect to West Ham. You mentioned, about the money, and you've got gold in charge and all that. If you look at the other fans who are on here, of the other clubs, Everton have got money behind them. With Bashiri spent 500 million. Usmanov's probably in the background. Man United do spend money when they have to. Abramovich is bankrolled again. Whereas if you look at West Ham, David Moyes didn't have much money at Everton when he come in. I always said we were a centre forward from challenging for the top 4 consistently under David Moyes because of the players he's brought in, and that's what he's doing at West Ham now. Yeah, it took David Moyes 5, 6, 7 years to get us there, or however long it was. So it won't happen overnight at West Ham with David Moyes, but he gets the best out of players. Players will play for him. That's why I asked the question before, should he have gone the first time? Because if he would have stuck with him the first time, I think now his average is even higher again. Do you know what I mean? Because he would have been there for a while. He would have brought players. I'm not saying these players would have come to West Ham, but, we signed Tim Cahill. We brought Gary Neville in, Marouane Fellaini. Players from, obviously Gary Neville come from Man United because he Obviously, his days were numbered there. Tim Cahill come from Millwall. You know, not big money signings. He'd done it on a shoestring budget, and it took him a while. And as Michael quite rightly said before, you can see that starting to happen at West Ham.
Yeah.
I think that's fair, John. To be fair, I think that's fair. One thing I wanted to just go back to, because I noticed there that John, as in Chelsea John, manhandled, Concord face.
Brilliant. My nose isn't that small neither, you know.
No, it's not. I'd love to punch you in it. When you mentioned Fernandes, obviously, I think the four of us were nodding and agreeing, but John in the middle, I know that face John was pulling. That wasn't an agreement face, John.
About Fernandes?
Yeah.
About him, I think, he's pulled the strings, but, you know, Rashford is been massively underrated. I think he's been doing pretty well this season. He scored some important goals.
But he's linking up with Fernandes, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is. I think, don't get me wrong, Fernandes is a focal point, and when he doesn't play, you can tell the difference. But yeah, he's a fantastic player. And I said if he gets injured, their season's absolutely screwed. But that's why Ollie needs to think of a plan B, because he's relying too much on individual brilliance, which is what Lampard's done. When the individual brilliance doesn't come through, you know, you've been 2-0 down, 1-0 down, and Fernandes and other players have pulled you back. That is just a weird comment. It's a weird comment. But yeah, I just think he does need to. He will be found out if Fernandes doesn't perform, because he has been of late. And if he doesn't, then yes, he will be found out. But yeah, I think he's just built up. He's one of those players that does stat pad. He takes a lot of penalties for goals. I think he is a fantastic player, but everyone makes Fernandes out to be the best player in the world. He is a superb player, but he literally gets the ball every single time Man United attack. And yeah, I just think you need a plan B. There's no disrespect. Fernandes is a fantastic player, but Man United need a plan B, because as much as I don't want it to work.
I see what you're saying, John, because as you quite rightly pointed out, if he does get injured, Saeed can answer this probably more than any of us. Who can they bring in and do what Fernandes does to keep the momentum going, the team ticking over, the run going? Who can they bring in place of Fernandes if he does get injured?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not too sure, mate. You know, I think he's given us like half of the goals that we've scored from the lockdown has been most assists. You know what I mean? I'll be honest with you, mate. You know, we'd be absolutely screwed without Fernandes. So probably nobody, man. He's irreplaceable.
What John's saying.
He's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
My United fan Rojo is linked with us personally. Got him. Okay. The problem is that it's never been a question of quality with Rojo. It's a question of being fit, and for the last 3-4 years, it's just never been fit. So I wouldn't go there, to be honest with you, mate. I'll probably just kind of like leave that one out and be honest with you. He's a quality player. But
how many times have we almost signed him, John? How many times have Everton almost signed Rojo?
I think we've been linked with him up until the last transfer window. The 3 transfer windows before that, I think we've been linked with him.
Yeah. He's a good player, but it's never stay fit and he's never available. You know what I mean? It's just never available. And that's the thing.
Well, he probably would have fitted in at Everton then, because Everton normally sign players who can't stay fucking fit.
But yeah, I tell you who's impressed me for Man United since coming back in is Eric Bailly, or I don't know how you pronounce his name really, but he's been fantastic since getting back in the team.
1-1 Brentford, by the way.
Get in there. Come on. Oh, they don't go through, honestly.
Wow.
Oh, fucking hell. Imagine that Man United Brentford final. Sorry, he's under the table sorting himself out. Ain't you adjusting?
Nah. I think Tottenham will probably win this. It's just a matter of time, isn't it?
Yeah. So, you know, obviously with Man United, Eric Bailly, Lindelof, you're looking a bit more solid at the back. So, is that enough? You know, is it enough? If I was to say to you, what is your top 4 in ascending order? Give it to me right now. We'll all do this. What's our top 4s?
Who's going first?
You?
Oh, you know what? I'll go first. I think I still think, you know what, man, in all honesty, probably Liverpool will probably win the league, in all honesty. And then I'm probably going to go for Man United second, City third, And I'm going to go with... Who am I going to go with? Chelsea just to get top 4. Chelsea just. Ahead of like Tottenham and maybe Arsenal. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you don't have the squad. Everton just don't have the squad. Everton got a good 11, but just don't have the squad. You know?
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. The only positive is, and I'm glad I'm saying this while Lee's not here, is it's been ruled offside, by the way. I think Everton will finish above Arsenal, and I think based on current season how it is at the minute, I think they're in very much a race with Leicester, Tottenham, and depending on how inconsistent Chelsea continue to be, maybe Chelsea, but there's no doubt that they have a better squad than Everton, to be fair to them. John, your top 4, my friend.
Which John?
The really ugly one.
Which one?
The really, really ugly one.
I'm not going to answer to that, but I'll just Chelsea John will take this. I think first, I've said Man City from the beginning. I think the way they played against us, the fact that Aguero hasn't even played their best striker and he hasn't scored for nearly a year, if they can get him back, I think Man City have got a real chance of winning the league. And I know they're not really being spoken about, but I think they can. It will be them or Liverpool, but I'm going to go Man City, Liverpool. But if he stays injury-free, Man United will finish 3rd because I think Chelsea have just got their own inner demons that we seem to keep shooting ourselves in the foot, and we will just about finish 4th. By the way, it's no dig against Man United. It's just, I can see that the lack of tactics is the same with Frank Lampard, and it's for me. If I was a United fan, I would be worried. I'm worried as a Chelsea fan right now because I don't know where our next win's going to come. Luckily, we've got 2 easy games, but yeah, I think that top 4 for me is about right. Obviously, Tottenham are going to push it very close. Mourinho's got a squad now that he actually likes. I think Everton and West Ham will probably make up the top 8. I think Everton, and I've said this to you, Mike, on a long phone call we had earlier in the season, where if you can keep your 11 fit, you've got a chance of getting top 6 and challenging the top 4. But someone like Rodriguez continually being injured, Calvert-Lewin's not been in the goals recently, that's where you've struggled. And I think you've got a good 11, but yeah, you need quality in numbers. And right now you don't really have that. So unless you can have a stomp in January and go against logic and the pandemic, I think you are going to probably finish top 8. And just now we've got West Ham guy here. I think the only reason you didn't challenge us in the game, we beat you 3-0, which was a really flattering scoreline, is because you didn't have someone that ran at us. You didn't have like a 10-year-old winger that was willing to run it. Ben Rama came on way too late. And you just didn't, no one was there to finish. If Antonio would have played, they'd have been a bit different. You had no one there to finish any of the chances. There's quite a few crosses coming in. I felt really bad for West Ham because obviously great for us to win because we needed it. But, you weren't far away from challenging us in that game. So I can see a massive improvement for Moyes and West Ham this season. So I suppose it's got, you've got to be fairly positive.
Fair enough. The other, John?
By the way, I hope you can hear me properly because my earphones are disconnected.
Yeah, you're fine.
Go for City, number 1. I think they found a bit of form now. It looks like Kevin De Bruyne is on the verge of signing another contract, which will give the whole club a lift. Looks like Pep, he signed his contract as well. Going for City. It's a tough one.
His head
I'm
saying
going for
Liverpool.
Man United seconds, and I'm hoping, obviously on Saïd's behalf, that they keep Fernandes fit, because as I said before, if he stays fit, I think they finish second. I'll go for Tottenham 3rd. And you have to go for the shite 4th, don't you? But I honestly think their defensive injuries they've got, and they are having a bit of bad form. I think it'll be once I can't see them signing the defence. They're playing Jordan Henderson at centre half. So for me, City, United, Tottenham, Liverpool, top 4 for me.
Fair enough. Corey?
Yeah, sorry lads. I think Liverpool will still win it despite last night.
Right, see you later, Corey.
Yeah, it's been great. Cheers.
See you later.
That is hilarious.
That was good though. That was good. No, City second. I know they said they did a bit of a job on Chelsea, which at the moment isn't too difficult, but they will 100. I've said for a long time, people are writing them off. They will be up there. United third. I don't know if Ollie can do it for the rest of the season, even though they've got a little bit of a leeway here. I'm not sure they'll do it, but obviously I think third's good for them. And unfortunately, Tottenham. I think Tottenham will, with Mourinho, second season, normally finish strong. So, yeah, it's going to unfortunately have to be Tottenham. Oh, it's not 2-0, is it? But Tottenham fourth.
Fair enough. Just shout out to Football Talk. Hi, lads, it's Alfie. Hope everyone's well. Keep up the good work. Mike and John loving the content recently. We also had, I can't remember, was it Grant Henry? He donated earlier as well. Obviously, I think he's come from Saeed's channel, was backing his brother. So there you go. Yeah, so my top four. So my top four, I'll go Man United to finish top. I'll explain my reasons. I think Manchester United finished top because I genuinely can't see them losing. I think they've got squad depth that people don't give them credit for in the middle of the park. I think they've found a defender in Bailly all of a sudden, where maybe last season and the season before he was wrote off with mistakes. I think Maguire's started to perform. I like Wan-Bissaka. I like the lad at left back as well. And I just think, they've got options. They've got Wan-Bissaka at right back. They've also got other players that can fit in there. They've got on the left side, they've got three decent left backs. They've got a good goalkeeper on his day, and then they've got an even better goalkeeper sitting behind him in Henderson. They've got a midfield that's strong with Fred, Pogba, numerous options. I even rate McTominay. Then they've got the front of, even Agallo can score goals. So for me, Manchester United, as of right now, I can't see them losing. As John rightly says, though, it's about whether they can stay consistent and whether, Ollie can get his tactics right, but not being over critical of anyone, but he got his tactics right against Everton. That was a tough game going to Goodison. He's done it twice this season. They've played some big teams and got results. I think Manchester United have only lost, twice this season? So they're not a bad side at all. They've got that game in hand. Then you go to who I think will finish second, and I think that will be Manchester City. And again, I just think they haven't started great, but I think they'll come good. I think they'll consistently get better. I think Aguero getting fit again will certainly help them. I think Liverpool will finish third. And the reason why Liverpool I don't put top of the league, and it's not because I'm biased against them or anything, it's their away form. Their away form this season puts them 10th in the league. And for a team that wants to hold on to the title, I just can't necessarily see them doing it on that sort of basis, on that sort of form. So, for all of our teams here have better away form than Liverpool Football Club. So they've only won 2 out of 7. That's not title winning numbers. And fourth, I think, will be Spurs. I think Spurs will finish fourth. I'll put Chelsea 5th. I'll put Everton 6th, and I'll put Leicester 7th. And I think Leicester will do a typical bottle job and won't be in the Champions League spots like last season. I think they'll be in Europa League and they'll bottle it. And I think Carlo Ancelotti's mentality will just push Everton into the top 6 spaces. So that's my sort of top 7. But this season, as we've all said, it's going to be a hell of a season for all of our clubs, really. West Ham stabilising, gearing up for next year, getting some of those players in that they want. Obviously, next year, Moyes will want to be challenging top 8, top 6. For Chelsea, this is a rebuilding season. They've spent a lot of money in the summer. We appreciate they are where they are at this moment. They are going to have ups and downs, and, people have got to be realistic to that. Everton of, again, having a rebuilding season. Ronald Koeman, Sam Allardyce, Martinez, Marco Silva absolutely destroyed the pace that was in that Everton side over time. And Carlo Ancelotti's probably inherited the worst squad he's ever had. And to get from 17th to 6th is real testament to him, especially being only 4 points off the top of the league, albeit this season's very weird. And I think as a Man United fan, I think, Saeed, you should be really encouraged by what's going on. I remember speaking on what channel is it? Is it the United whatever massive United YouTube channel? I was on it a few years ago, and it was after the 1-1 draw, and I remember saying, I think Ollie tactically will mature. And that's what I think I'm starting to see. If I'm only got a Solskjaer, I think I'm starting to see him mature. I'm starting to see him make more rational decisions. And I think that's what will really support Manchester United. So I think it's going to be really encouraging for all of our football teams. And that's sort of it, guys. Is there anything else any of you want to say that's screaming at you? I've kept you over an hour, so I appreciate you've completely wasted your evening for me.
No, it's I think it'll be an interesting season. It'll be an interesting season. I think it'll be ups and downs. I don't think this season will be finished by any means. I think City. I looked at their fixture list. I think they'll be probably favourites when I look at it now. They'll just go under the radar. So yeah, but yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate your time, man. And big up to the channel, man. You're doing well.
No, I love you, brother. I love you. It's absolutely fantastic, and your channel's absolutely flying. So thank you for taking your time out and coming on ours. John, from Chelsea's perspective, anything to go? Anything to say?
Well, on Chelsea and in the Premier League right now, there's just flavours of the month. Just as I said earlier, praise in isolation. Right now, it's Man United. Next month, I think it's going to be Man City because they're going to regain some form. Liverpool will come back into it. You can't have a front three like that and not have any sort of challenge for the league. I think to put them below sort of second or third is a bit disrespectful. No offence, but they still have a good squad. It's just they're missing a couple of centre backs, but they've still got the spine and the majority of the players last season. And Klopp is too good of a manager to let them just slide down to third, fourth, fifth in the league. I don't think they're going to win it. I think Man City are going to win it. But for just to talk finally about Chelsea. So this season, for me, we were never going to win the league. It was always about closing the gap on Liverpool, Man City, obviously trying to get as high up the table as possible, but closing the gap because in terms of quality, we've bought promising young players with a lot of quality that are going to be better in the future. But if you have a manager right now who's not utilising that, it's not going to work. So I think maybe, and I said I'm not Lampard in, but I don't want to sack him right now, but sometimes you have to go through spells in a football club. And right now, Lampard could just be the guy that brings the players in with his man management or, his pull power, gets the squad that then maybe another manager can take over. That's just a theory that, could happen. A lot of people that are Lampard out are saying that. But for me, right now, we just need to get some wins, get some form. Lampard needs to pull his fingers out of his ears and start, just thinking of something different, being a little bit unpredictable. And hopefully we can, get some traction up the league.
Fair enough. Corey, from a West Ham perspective?
We just got to be consistent, mate. I mean, I'm sure Moyes is going to pull a few stunts from now towards the end of the season with substitutes and team selection. But Mikel Antonio's getting fit, and in the past couple of games, he's getting his fitness up. And when he's fully raring, I think West Ham are a good side. Need to start seeing a bit more Ben Rama in the team, just from a creativity standpoint. We have got a little bit of squad depth in those 10 positions, so going forward, we're all right. We do need to get another striker in January. If we can do that, then possibly we finish top half, push for top 8. So it's positive, mate. I thought we were going to get relegated, so so this season's a nice one for me.
Do you want to answer that, John?
Right now, Peckham, but I'm moving their Barking next month, hopefully. Let's hope with this bloody lockdown I can still move.
Let me see my things from Barking, 7 a.m. in the morning, she's coming.
This is a really good rendition. I'd certainly watch your skit.
Yeah, cheers, man. Cheers. John, from an Everton perspective, where are we? What do we need?
Well, it's a strange one, isn't it, Michael? Because we spoke about this. We've had James out, we've had Luca Dean out. Probably two of our most creative players. Judy comes straight back in with the run of form we were on. Is Ancelotti again? Listen, I've said this on the channel, Mike. I got slated for it. I don't care if Ancelotti is one of the most successful managers in the world. If he's making mistakes, if he's making bad substitutions, if he's making bad team selections, I will say it. And I got slagged off because he made one or two. No, it's not just one or two. Me and you spoke about this, Michael. Been in charge 35, 40 games now. You're probably looking at 12, 15 times he's made the wrong team selection or the wrong substitution. He needs to stop that. The best thing that happened to Everton a couple of weeks ago, and again, I don't want to see players injured, was the away game. I can't remember it was against now because I was working. Fabian Delph was at left back, and Burnley, I think it was, wasn't it? And what changed? It was Fabian Delph getting injured, and we went on that run after that, a good run.
So we need to stop messing with a team that's winning. That's to start. Stop changing a winning side. No, we don't like to see that. You know, Luca Dean, if he's fit, but we're winning, and we're still on this great run playing centre halves, don't change it. Don't change it. Bit more experience bringing in to give us that push, bit more quality. You know, and as I said before, if he does that, top 6. If he doesn't do that, 8th. Simple.
Fair enough. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you ever so much for coming on, everyone. Also, shout out to Lee, who was on earlier, who had to leave to get on his live show. Guys, respect to you all. Have a fantastic evening, and I'll see you all. Peace.